We hardly got time to spend with each other. And now I'm getting greedy. I do want to visit again and I want to spend some time in this campus. So I was sitting with the director of a B school. It was 11:30 in the night. The guy says that, Professor Singla, can you get me a few faculty members? Getting faculty members is always a tough call. I also felt, I said, it's a time pass. I said, what kind of faculty member are you looking for, director? He had a beard. He started thinking, you know, the people who are weird, they start thinking like this. He says, I can make a good human being an above average faculty, but I cannot make love the energy league. Therefore, yesterday I was playing a video cassette in my MBA class. The last sentence was, above everything else, learn to learn and learn to change. Last sentence that I want to tell you. When Kapil Dev, the famous cricketer, was on the negative side of media publicity that he was involved in a scam. So he got cleared, he was acquitted. So one day there is an interview with Kapil Dev going on the national TV, and the interviewer asked him, what was the toughest moment for you in this whole episode of being a part of the scam, so-called scam? He started thinking, and then he replied, which is critically important. He said, after this whole episode, while this whole episode was going on, one day I went to my village, and I met my half-blind mother, who is not educated at all, who doesn't know the C of cricket, but she knows that I play cricket, who was also told by neighbors that your son is a part of a scam. The moment she get to know that I have come to meet her, with half-blurred eyes, she looked at me and she asked me in Tet Haryanvi, he comes from Haryana, which I'll translate for you. Putter, tu kita te nena. Son, I hope you didn't do it. He said, no amount of media, no amount of grilling was important for me. But that moment, I cried. I cried that how lucky I was that I was not involved. So I was able to face this woman who brought me to this earth. So friends, most important, which is relevant today, which is going to be relevant 10 years down the line, which is going to be relevant 40 years down the line, which is going to be relevant 100 years down the line, values, ethics, and attitude is going to be everything for you. And there is going to be a mentor where you will be dead scared to go before him or her if you do not observe values, if you do not observe ethics, and you do not have a good attitude. I said last because this is going to be the most important thing in life. It's going to be the most important aspect of life. Thank you very much. All the best, and God bless.
Presentation and felicitation of Chief Guest, Shri Yadurendra Mathur, IAS, Chairman and Managing Director, Exim Bank of India, Mumbai.
Professor V.K. Kumar for having invited me today. Dr. Kumar, you have really honored me and my institution, the Export-Import Bank of India, by giving this opportunity to spend the morning with some of the brightest young minds and some of the scintillating entrepreneurs like Mr. Ramesh Babu. It's a pleasure to meet Mr. Babu, really, round of applause for him. This is for any graduating class and a real honor to see one of their seniors achieve the heights and the real, nothing has to be said about this business school. When an alumni of this school is coming in on recruitment day and recruiting, this passing batch, I think no words of appreciation for the leadership that has been provided by Dr. MBBS Murthy, the president of this institution, this group of institutions, this university, this beautiful campus, and the leadership provided by Professor Kumar and all his faculty members sitting here. I think for all the faculty members, it's a great day, and I acknowledge all of you for the leadership you have provided for this graduating class. Professor Singla, a very distinguished, top-notch business school leader. The Faculty of Management Studies is the #1 faculty of management education as far as the universities go in India. If you go back to the history of management education, the real leadership came from FMS Delhi. Of course, these IIMs were also created way back, but in the academic sense, the rigor that the FMS has brought, I acknowledge your leadership to the top business schools. The morning would not be complete without somebody called Yadumen Mathur sharing a little bit from his own life. Because way back in 1981, I also, after a degree in economics, history, and literature, English literature, so I did a pass course in all these 3 subjects. That I did an MBA from the Lucknow University Faculty of Management. I passed out in 81 December, and in 82 January I got a job in Bombay, and I worked for 3 years in Bombay, and thereafter I joined the Indian Administrative Service. So I know that I am also one of the graduating classes, an MBA. I passed out. I also did an MBA degree, I think probably 2 years before Professor Singla did. So that way I'm a little senior to you, sir. But I chose to, after the private sector, when I passed out, we were not so fortunate to have very formal graduations in the university days. Of course, there used to be a convocation where we also bestowed upon degrees, like you have been bestowed a postgraduate degree today. But the formality and the fun of your parents being around when you were graduating was missing at my time. It was more formal, a larger number of students, and the pleasure of graduating and getting a postgraduate or a degree, wearing the British, the colonial vestiges, the elan and the pomp which continues. So the real pleasure is to have your parents around you. So I would really like to address and really congratulate all the parents in this auditorium, in this hall. That really a big round of applause to the parents. And somewhere during the degrees when they were being given out, I was remembering my parents, when I had passed out. And how delighted I would have been if my mother and father, who actually sold their gold to pay my fees, and that is where, we have to go back to the real root of who we are. And Professor Singla did mention about the parents and the roots. So we really need to, if there is one connection, if there is one message as a part of an academic input, if it were the last lecture before you are out in the world, is whenever you are in doubt, no management book, no rules of the game, nothing is needed, just look back. Would your mother be proud of what you're doing? Anything you do in your professional career and your personal career, if there was one, stone against which you want to check it out, इसको कसौटी बोलते हैं हिंदी में, is your parents. So always live your life out of, getting it vetted, getting it approved from your parents. And I'm sure your parents have put in their blood and sweat to give you the education you got today. And going forward, if you talk about the mother, the motherland, the country, your state, maybe your city, or maybe your community where you come from. And if you can relate with your community, your city, the city of destiny, Visakhapatnam, your state, Andhra Pradesh, a new state, or your country, India, it's like your mother. How that entity, is it acceptable? Would the city of Visakhapatnam like you to litter and dirty the city? Would you like to pay your taxes in Visakhapatnam? If the city is giving you so much, are you willing to give back to the city? Though you've done a degree in international business, start relating to your business ecosystem from your community, from your city. See how can you act globally, but in relationship to the community you come from, your family, your immediate community, and then you can extrapolate your life. And that's, my friend, the message I've got in my 35 years of working. After the degree, after a management degree, I joined the private sector in Bombay, and after 3 years, I sold cigarettes, initially. And like Professor Singla was saying at that time, it was all about action. So really as a brand, so I joined the brand of a cigarette company, and we were doing a product, we were developing a cigarette, and so I used to sit in the factory, actually checking the cigarette packets, which would convert into a packet, to see that they were top quality. So even as an MBA, we used to laugh, MBA meant much below average. So MBA was quite a big leveler. so if you're an MBA, you must proudly tell yourself you're actually much below average. So it should be, you should level yourself, go back on the field. So that was the MBA anyway I grew up with. So you would be put right in the shop floor, in the factory, and you were dirtying your hands. And I would stand at a cigarette shop, actually standing with a chart. We didn't have iPads or anything, and actually doing customer survey and watching where the cigarette shopkeeper is keeping the packets. So the packet that is moving the fastest is kept closest to him. And the cigarette's not selling is, so retail, looking at buyer behavior, that was very granular experience. And if the cigarette shopkeeper, that pan wala, did not like your company or the deal you gave him, so he would splash the katha on your shirt. So the first thing you learned was not to stand in front of the pan wala, but to stand on his side. Otherwise, he would, quickly, just splash a little bit of the katha when he was making the pan. So that was a kind of MBA after we passed out we would be put into. But soon we would all get promoted. Anyway, but I quit that life. I then worked with ACC, Associated Cement. I joined the Tata Administrative Services, and I was working with Mr. Palkhiwala. He was chairman of ACC. So I spent 2 years with ACC. But then something was still missing in my life. And I was changing. I got a salary. I got more salary than my father. And I bought my mother a piece of gold which she had sold for my fees. That was the first thing I did when I got a salary. But still that something was missing. I made it in life, I got a good salary in the first 3 years, but then there was something missing. And that's when I took advice of a senior of mine, and she said, you do a training course. So me and another friend of mine, we attended a training program, and for the first time, I could actually experience the difference between change and transformation. So, you know, I thought that I'd changed when I got a degree, when I got a job, when I had a little money in my pocket. But what was missing, I did not know transformation. So I got, you know, the experience of transformation is liberating. And I transformed from a person who wanted, who dreamt, who thought, who planned, you know, all that was in the mind. But what was missing was my ability to take action. So reality responds to action. Reality doesn't respond to what you think or want, desire. Take action. So I was that guy in 1984 who was scared of writing the civil service exam. What I really wanted was, I never appeared for the IIMs, never appeared for any MBA. I was very focused that I will be a IAS officer. You know, that was like who I was. But then what should I have been doing? Soon after graduation, I should have filled up the UPSC form and taken the exam. But you know, that's who I was. I was so stuck up with the fear of failure. So I was not taking action in areas where I actually wanted results. So my friend, my message to you is, please take action to get whatever you want in life. Don't think too much, don't read too much. I know Ayn Rand and Fountainhead, me and Singlaji grew up with that generation, and all the attitude and the difference between an attitude and a value and a belief system, you know, or religion, all of that is in the domain of thinking. And all the do's and don'ts and the shoulds and should nots, that is all a lot of stuff you can read, but ultimately it's all about action. But this simple thing I didn't know, that training opened up my life. And I got it like straight on. Whatever you need to do, take action. And that is liberating. Just to discover that what's missing in your life is going to be the first big challenge in your life. Whether to become an entrepreneur, so you want to make money, you want to do something for society, whatever it is you want to do, just take action. So ultimately, for me, it was not about attitude, values, but it was about behavior. You know, this dilemma keeps going on. What is material? It is behavior. You know, the way you actually come across. You might have a great commitment, but you can't convey it out. You know, you might be very brave inside, but your behavior doesn't say so. You don't look people in the eye when you talk to people, and you think that you're a very straight guy, but your eyes will reveal it all. So take action. Be trained in conveying who you are. So going back to continuous education, and like an alumni, continuously come back to this institute and get your behavior corrected. You know, education, knowledge, you don't need, you can Google, and within seconds you're as well connected to all the knowledge out there in the world. Attitude, again, makes no difference. It's your behavior, my friends, that's going to be watched. You step into a company, in 30 seconds, that employer will take a decision whether they want to hire you or they don't want to hire you. So I'm going to stop because my 14 minutes is over. I was allotted 15 minutes today. So I'm going to stop soon after. But I just end in a minute. Go back to you know, your behavior. Look at that. That's the defining moment. Take action, and you live for your dreams. So in 84, when I got transformed, if I may say, I took the UPSC exam. First attempt I got into income tax, and in the second attempt I stood second